The digital clock on the car's dashboard showed 23:17 when the black SUV parked in front of the Grandview Hotel. Stephen Curry sighed, relieved to finally arrive after a delayed flight from San Francisco to Chicago. The golden lights of the lobby of the historic luxury hotel shone through the glass revolving doors, promising the comfort he so needed before tomorrow's charity event. "Do you want me to take the bags now, or would you prefer to check in first?" asked Jason, his personal assistant, already reaching for the suitcase in the back seat. "I'll go ahead and check in while you organize the luggage. I just need a bed right now," replied Curry, rubbing his tired eyes. The valet quickly recognized the NBA star and opened the door for him with a genuine smile. "Welcome to the Grandview, sir." Inside the lobby, the atmosphere was one of discreet elegance. Crystal chandeliers illuminated the Italian marble-lined space, where only a few late guests were moving about. Despite his casual outfit, dark jeans, simple t-shirt, and a discreet cap, Curry walked with the calm confidence that characterized him both on and off the courts. At the reception desk, a middle-aged man with gray hair and rigid posture watched him approach. His badge read, "Richard Whitmore, Senior Receptionist." "May I help you?" asked Whitmore with a cold tone, examining Curry from head to toe, with an expression that mixed disdain and suspicion. "Good evening. I have a reservation under the name Stephen Curry," he responded politely, presenting his identification and credit card. The receptionist examined the documents with studied slowness, his gaze alternating between the ID and Curry's face, as if looking for discrepancies. "It seems there's a problem with your reservation, sir," Whitmore finally said. "I'm not finding any record." Curry frowned. "Impossible. My team confirmed the reservation this morning. Executive suite for 3 nights. Perhaps your card doesn't have sufficient limit for our category of suites," suggested the receptionist with a thin smile. At that moment, a hotel security guard positioned himself casually near the counter, arms crossed and vigilant gaze fixed on Curry. Jason entered the lobby, immediately noticing the tension in his boss's posture and the intimidating presence of the security guard. Discreetly, he took his cell phone from his pocket and began recording. "I would like to speak with the manager, please," requested Curry, maintaining his calm despite growing indignation. Minutes later, a man in a suit appeared, his expression equally cold. After a brief whispered conversation with Whitmore, he turned to Curry. "I'm sorry, sir. It seems we don't have any rooms available tonight. Perhaps you're looking for another type of accommodation?" "I want to speak with the owner," insisted Curry. The manager smiled with disdain. "Mr. Montgomery is not available to handle this type of situation." Outside, breathing the cold Chicago air, Curry observed the imposing facade of the hotel while dialing a familiar number. "Frank, we have a problem, and also an opportunity." "We're going to the Lakeside Plaza," Curry informed the driver when he and Jason returned to the car. The assistant's face still displayed indignation as he showed the video he had just recorded. 2 hours later, the presidential suite of the Lakeside Plaza Hotel had transformed into an improvised operations center. Frank Williams, Curry's agent, for more than a decade, gestured energetically while speaking on the phone. On the elegant dining table, converted into a meeting table, open laptops displayed social media analyses where the video shared by Jason already accumulated millions of views. "This is a classic case of discrimination," stated Sandra Chen, Curry's lead attorney, a woman in her early 40s known for her strategic approach. The video captured everything. They weren't even subtle. Frank hung up the phone and joined the group. "The court of public opinion is already crucifying the Grandview. We have 3 possible paths. We can sue for discrimination, which would be a clear case, explained Sandra, counting on her fingers. We can amplify the public exposure, letting social pressure do its work. Or we can transform this into something more meaningful. Curry, who had been silently observing the city through the panoramic window, turned to the team. I want to know more about this hotel. Who is Montgomery? Why? Does a place of this caliber still operate with a 50s mindset? The following hours were dedicated to a thorough investigation. Financial analysts from his investment team unearthed revealing reports about the Grandview Hotel's situation. The place is in accelerated financial decline, explained David, his investment consultant. It's lost 40% of its value in the last 5 years. The management is outdated, and online reviews show a consistent pattern of preferential treatment. One of the lawyers slid a confidential folder across the table. Through our contacts, we discovered something even more interesting. Arthur Montgomery III is discreetly seeking buyers. He's desperate to sell before the value plummets further. Montgomery represents the third generation of a family that built this empire in the 50s, added Frank. His grandfather was notoriously segregationist. Apparently, some traditions remain alive. Curry's cell phone wouldn't stop ringing. NBA colleagues, other celebrities, and even political figures were calling, offering support. More disturbing were messages from ordinary people reporting similar experiences at the same establishment. Curry walked to the window again, contemplating the city lights. You know, I've been expanding my investments beyond the courts. I've always considered entering the hotel sector. A knowing smile spread among those present. We can make an offer through your investment company, suggested Sandra, adjusting her glasses. Without revealing your identity as the main buyer. With this scandal exploding, Montgomery will sell for the first decent value that appears. The night progressed with intense activity. Financial experts calculated the property's real value, lawyers prepared preliminary documents, and communication strategists crafted carefully constructed messages. I don't just want to buy a hotel, Curry finally said, his calm voice contrasting with the energy in the room. I want to transform this situation into a turning point, a lesson on how to face prejudice not with anger, but with strategic action that creates real change. Frank smiled, recognizing in Curry's gaze the same determination that had transformed him into one of the greatest players in basketball history. Then, let's buy a hotel. Arthur Montgomery III contemplated, from the window of his office on the top floor of the Grandview, the protesters gathering on the sidewalk in front of the hotel. Signs with hashtags like Chans Boycott Grandview and Fran Racist Hotel swayed under Chicago's gray sky. In just 24 hours, his family empire was crumbling before his eyes. Sir, CNN just called again, his secretary informed through the intercom, and the mayor canceled his participation in next month's charity event. Montgomery turned off the intercom without responding. On his computer screen, notifications of reservation cancellations were arriving at an alarming rate. 3 corporate conventions had already transferred their events to competing hotels, citing incompatibility of values in their cancellation emails. The phone rang once more. This time, it was Harold Simmons, his lawyer for 30 years. Arthur, we received an offer. Horizon Investments. They want to buy the hotel, cash payment. How much? Montgomery asked dryly, fingers pinching the bridge of his nose. 30% below the market value from 6 months ago, Simmons responded hesitantly. Under normal circumstances, I'd say to refuse immediately, but considering the current situation, Montgomery closed his eyes. Schedule the meeting for today. 4 hours later, In the neutrality of a conference room in Chicago's financial center, Montgomery and his legal representatives waited nervously. The door opened, and Montgomery's expression froze as he recognized Stephen Curry calmly entering, followed by an impeccably dressed legal team. "What does this mean?" stammered Montgomery, rising abruptly. "Mr. Montgomery," intervened an Asian-American woman in a dark suit. "I'm Sandra Chen, representing the interests of Horizon Investments. Allow me to introduce our principal investor." The atmosphere in the room was dense as Montgomery's lawyers tried to control the damage, whispering furiously in his ear. After tense minutes, the negotiation officially began. "Our offer is final," explained Frank, placing the terms on the table. "Considering the damage to the property's reputation and the financial projections for the coming quarters, it's more than fair." The following hours passed in intense discussions. When night fell over Chicago, the final documents were being signed. Among the specific clauses, comprehensive anti-discrimination policies and guarantees for employees who weren't involved in discriminatory practices stood out. "I hope you understand, Mr. Montgomery," said Curry, while the lawyers finalized the last details. "This isn't about revenge. It's about transformation, about creating spaces where no one is judged by the color of their skin." Montgomery couldn't sustain the gaze. At the Grand View Hotel, the corridors buzzed with rumors. News of the sale spread quickly among the staff. Richard Whitmore and the manager who had confronted Curry were hurriedly clearing their personal belongings, while other employees watched with expressions ranging from relief to apprehension. By the evening of the following day, Curry walked through the same lobby where he had been, humiliated. This time, respectful security guards accompanied him as he observed the space now under his ownership. His eyes registered every detail: the classic architecture, the untapped potential, and above all, the opportunity for transformation. 6 months can completely transform a reality. In place of what was once the Grand View Hotel, a new establishment emerged, the Renaissance Heights. The reopening date had been carefully chosen to coincide with the anniversary of the incident that had changed the course of that historic space. The classic facade of the building remained faithful to its architectural heritage, but crossing the revolving doors, visitors found a completely renovated environment. The oppressive marble had been replaced by more welcoming materials. The walls now displayed works by local artists from diverse backgrounds, and the most notable element, the genuine smiles on the faces of a visibly diverse team. Stephen Curry crossed the renovated lobby, greeting employees by name. Some faces were familiar, employees from the old regime who had always felt uncomfortable with the discriminatory practices but feared losing their jobs if they protested. Others were new, selected not only for their technical qualifications but also for their values aligned with the new vision. Mr. Curry approached Darlene Washington, an African-American woman who had worked at the hotel for decades as a receptionist, never promoted despite her exceptional competence. Now, as hospitality manager, her badge shone as brightly as her smile. The first group from the mentorship program has arrived for the tour. In the main hall, 20 teenagers from underprivileged communities listened attentively as Curry explained how Renaissance Heights had become more than a luxury hotel. It was a center of opportunities. The program offered not just paid internships, but complete professional training and scholarships for young people interested in hotel management and tourism. Success is not just measured by how much we achieve for ourselves, Curry told the wide-eyed youths, but by how many doors we manage to open for others. Among the special guests at the reopening ceremony were Jason, now the company's social responsibility director, NBA players, celebrities, and public figures who had supported the initiative from the beginning. The press extensively covered the event, no longer as a scandal, but as a case study in positive transformation. The most significant moment of the night was the unveiling of a commemorative plaque in the lobby. Without mentioning specific names or details of the incident, the plaque briefly told the story of the space, not as a monument to the prejudice faced, but as testimony that positive changes are possible when we respond to discrimination with constructive determination. "This place once represented exclusion," said Curry in his final speech, as cameras recorded the moment. "Now it symbolizes possibility. We haven't just changed a hotel. We're changing a mindset, an entire sector." Later, when the celebration was still in full swing, Curry discreetly observed the movement from the upper balcony. A veteran journalist approached for a final question. Was the painful process worth it to get here? Curry smiled, contemplating the hall filled with people of all backgrounds and ethnicities, celebrating together. Some difficult experiences lead us exactly where we need to be to make a difference. And that's always worth it.